doing? Caffeinated? Hey! Full of sugar and food and healthy food. Where is he? Healthy food. I'm really excited to be here. My name's Jodi Beznoska. I've lived here in Northwest Arkansas for just over 7 years. And before I begin my talk, I want to say thank you to all the TEDxBentonville team. How cool is it that we live in a community that has this now? This is awesome. And we will be having a TEDx in Fayetteville in March, as you may have heard. So I know some of my fellow planners are out here, and I hope that we'll see many of you at the TEDx in Fayetteville as well. So let's see, full disclosure, I work at Walton Arts Center down in Fayetteville. So this talk is going to be about the arts, because that's what I do, that's what I love. We're going to talk about how here in Northwest Arkansas, we are becoming an arts ecosystem. Now, if you're not into the arts, you might want to conveniently get a phone call now, or maybe have to go to the bathroom. I promise you I will not be offended. Anyway, as Vice President of Communications at Walton Arts Center, my job is to try to convince folks like you to part with your hard-earned cash and buy tickets to shows. So at heart, I'm a marketer. I'm in the marketing business. Now, you might be wondering why, if I'm a marketer, I'm up here talking about something weird like becoming an arts ecosystem. And so the reality is that though I work in the arts, though I work in marketing, I am an arts nut. Since before I was 5 and before, I've been singing, dancing, acting, writing, producing art of all kinds in preschool, elementary school, high school, college, graduate school. I am officially an arts geek and very proud of it. But I am also one of those people who learned in college that I didn't want to be an artist full-time. Like Zeke, who was so inspiring earlier today. I didn't want to tour. I'm a performer. I didn't want to tour. I did not want to spend my life auditioning. And I had this strange love for systems, for organizations and businesses. So in college, I studied foreign policy, economics, statistics, world cultures, theater, everything. And the end result was that I graduated with a Bachelor of Arts in I don't know what the heck I want to do with my life. So I took a job in software. And I discovered that I was pretty good at business and solving problems. And then, dun dun dun, I was offered a job working in the office of a regional theater. To the extreme horror of my parents, I took a $5,000 pay cut, lost my health insurance, and took this job. And that was when I was introduced to the field of arts administration. Now, arts administrators like me and like Nikki and Cassie and others who are in here and Dan, we are the business people sometimes in the arts. We're the one who sell tickets, run the buildings, negotiate the contracts, and we fundraise. We fundraise, we fundraise, we fundraise. We're the ones who support the arts, and we work to build the infrastructure that the arts need to survive. So after a few years of working in regional theater and producing theater, with a little bit of waitressing thrown in there because I needed the extra cash, I was lucky enough to be one of 7 students admitted to the Bowles Center for Arts Administration in Madison, Wisconsin. This is a 2-year MBA program housed within the business school that is all about training the next generation of arts administrators. And this is relevant because it was at the Bowles Center that I started to know about and understand and care about arts ecosystems. So before we go further, let's talk about what an ecosystem is. There's no official definition for an arts ecosystem, so I thought we would start with what I found in my 1985 actual physical dictionary, a definition of an ecosystem. It's a noun, and the way they defined it is an ecological community together with its physical environment that is viewed as a unit. Okay, so that's sort of helpful, but basically it's a community and all of its surroundings considered together. Now, an arts ecosystem is a phrase that arts administrators like me like to use if we like to feel smart. But the best definition I have found of an arts ecosystem is this one from Ian David Moss, who's one of our current thinkers. Now, this is really long, and I won't expect you to read it all, so I will sum it up for you. An arts ecosystem is not just the arts organizations that make up a community. I want to repeat that. An arts ecosystem is not just the arts organizations that make up a community. It is everything that goes into the arts, from artists and businesses that work with arts organizations. It is the people who are involved in the arts, either by creating it, enjoying it, possibly hating it, and supporting it. So to simplify, an arts ecosystem is an arts community and all of its surroundings and inputs considered together. Now, arts ecosystems are pretty powerful. If you think about most great places to live, those with the highest quality of life, they are full of the arts and creativity. In fact, in 2010, Americans for the Arts conducted the 4th Arts in Economic Prosperity study assessing the impact of nonprofit arts and organizations and their customers on the economy, and the results were pretty impressive. Nationally, the nonprofit arts and culture industry generated $135.2 billion in economic activity, which supports the equivalent of 4.13 million full-time jobs. That is huge. And if you look here in Northwest Arkansas locally, the impact of the arts is more than $46 million on the local economy, and that is the equivalent of almost 1,500 full-time jobs. In the last 5 years, these numbers have tripled. So that, and in many ways, Northwest Arkansas is now doing better than many other communities of our size in terms of the economic impact of the arts, just as Zeke was telling us before and as Crystal Bridges has helped us realize. So you guys, this is great news. And these numbers don't take into account the full arts ecosystem that I've been talking about. These are just the nonprofit arts and culture organizations. They are not the restaurants, the lawyers, the technology firms, the supply stores, and the educational institutions that service and work with the artists and the arts community. Now, if we were anywhere else other than Northwest Arkansas, I'd say we could call it done at this point, right? I mean, just think about everything that has happened here. From big projects like the opening of Crystal Bridges and the expansion of Walton Arts Center, to programs that bring the arts to schools and free concerts in our parks and downtown. We have new theaters coming up. We have growing visual arts communities. We're collaborating on arts projects of all shapes and sizes, from the Artisphere Festival to all the local art walks and the first Thursdays and the first Fridays. Y'all, this is awesome. We are doing a really good job. But here's the thing. We're not done. We are not the kind of ecosystem that we could be. And I can imagine many of you are going, yeah, whatever. I mean, look at the numbers. We just have Crystal Bridges opening, and all of us are really busy. There's a lot going on. Why do we need more? Why do we need more art? Why do we need a better arts ecosystem? Naturally, as an arts geek, I'm going to say, of course we want more. I would love to have more arts here. I would love to see more theater, more dance, film, opera, ballet, interdisciplinary companies, more arts in the schools, more opportunities for our community to participate and learn arts of all kinds. But that isn't really the point. The point is that we should do more because we can. We can take our arts ecosystem to the next level. And I want to give you some examples of how this might work in the future. So when I lived in Madison, Wisconsin, for 2 years, I experienced the arts and the arts ecosystem there as a serious regional force to be reckoned with. Throughout the region, you encountered arts in ways that weren't limited to the major arts institutions. There was art in the schools, art on the streets, art in the suburbs. Even out on the frozen ice of Lake Mendota, there was art. I went to the symphony, the ballet, opera, I was acting, I was singing, I was completely engaged in the arts ecosystem. And I remember days when I could have gone to a dozen events of all kinds and still not have gotten to them all. But it wasn't until I saw this project called the Farm Art Detour that I really started to understand what an arts ecosystem could do. This photo is one of about 40 installations along a highway just in Sauk County, Wisconsin, just outside of Madison. 40 regional and local artists were commissioned to create art that tried to illuminate the connections between art and agriculture, of all random things. And as I experienced this work and on the other works along the path, I was struck, of course, by the beauty of it, but also how it illuminated the tensions of the different economies of Wisconsin, the rural agricultural economy and the urban economy of Madison and its suburbs. If any of you follow politics, you know that Wisconsin is a very divided and conflicted state right now with tensions between these forces and others. And this project to me felt like a fantastic attempt to grapple with those real tensions that shape that community. Now, as you all know, Northwest Arkansas is made up of different communities with very different identities. And I have certainly felt in my 7 years here that tension of city interest versus regional interest. And I have thought since the day I started working here at Walton Arts Center that our arts community could be the catalyst for regional collaboration, for bringing us closer together. So as I experienced the Farm Art Detour, I started to wonder, how could our creative economy help us explore how we can live together, solve our community's challenges, and grapple with the tensions of our region? What would the Farm Art Detour look like if it was done by Northwest Arkansas artists? Another idea, also coming from Madison and unrelated to the Farm Art Detour, there's an organization in Madison called the Dane County Cultural Affairs Commission. Managed out of the county governmental offices, it gives grants and support to programs that, and I'm quoting this from their website, make the Madison region stronger by supporting citizens, groups, and organizations that preserve our shared heritage and create arts and cultural opportunities for residents and visitors. Now, I think all you need to do to that statement is substitute Northwest Arkansas for Dane County, Wisconsin, and you have in a nutshell what I believe the arts ecosystem in Northwest Arkansas could become. It could be a catalyzing force, exploring what makes our region unique and creating more arts and cultural activities to enhance the lives of our residents and more attraction for our visitors. Now, these are just ideas. These are just big ideas. And forming a region-wide entity to support the development of our arts ecosystem, obviously this isn't something we can do overnight. So what can we here in this room today do right now? So if you remember back to Ian David Moss's definition, art at its most basic, and an arts ecosystem at its most basic involves art and art making at all levels of a community. It's not just about coming to see a Broadway show or going to visit an exhibition. It is about participation, about creating art in your homes, in your child's schools. It's about growing businesses that support and serve the arts, like supply stores, artist training programs, web and printing services. It's about granting programs and collaboration. And it's about individuals who decide that the arts and creativity are essential to their community's health. So, what can we as individuals today do to help this ecosystem that we have grow? Luckily, there's some very simple things. The first thing is we can go to things, we can attend things, we can buy tickets, we can make the time, and it doesn't have to be a professional production that costs you tens of hundreds of dollars sometimes. It could be the local production at your high school, or it could even be the puppet show that your neighbor's kids are putting on in their front yard. If you are there and if you are attending, you are part of the arts ecosystem. Second, we could pay for things. We could pay for tickets. This is pretty funny since in your bag you will have a little ticket to get 2 free tickets to Walton Arts Center. So maybe next time you pay for tickets. But really, paying and supporting these organizations either by buying the tickets or making a donation, the economic impact data proves that this money comes back to your community 4, 5, 6, 7 times. And you support people like Zeke and Cassie and the wonderful artists in our community who are making things happen. We can ask for more support from our city government and our legislators, keeping our eyes open for initiatives that support the arts and art making, or maybe even the artistic exploration of our region. And you can remember, back to those slides about economic impact, you can say with absolute confidence the arts are good for business, and you can say that to your legislators and your leaders in your community. And finally, we cannot treat art as a luxury. We can treat it as a necessity. Something as important to our community as schools, roads, and trash pickup. This economic data that I showed you proves that the arts are a growing industry and a major positive driver of our economy. So, in closing, I wanted to just tell you all how difficult it was for me to prepare this TED Talk, because when I originally started, my idea was to point out that Northwest Arkansas was a fledgling arts ecosystem, just on the beginning, just getting started. Pretty arrogant, and it was what I was originally thinking. And then I started to listen, and I started to talk to more people, and I started to do more research, and I realized I was completely wrong. We are in great shape. We are doing really good work right now. We are a strong, powerful arts ecosystem that has grown tremendously over the last few years and over the last few decades. So I've spent a lot of time figuring out what charge could I bring to this group. And I spent a long time staring at this picture. I was trying to figure out why it was challenging me so much. And I came to the conclusion that, like Madison, Northwest Arkansas is a place of contradictions and challenges. We have different communities and different economies that drive our success and our growth. But I also think we have a desire and a need to work together. And with all of the creative energy and talent that we have here, we are poised to do some really, really great things. So I guess my charge for us is to put our considerable brain power and creativity to work and decide what role the arts can play in uniting our region. What infrastructure and support can we develop, like the Farm Art Detour or the Dane County Cultural Affairs Commission, or even something new that we haven't thought of yet? What can we do to encourage a creative exploration of the uniqueness of Northwest Arkansas? What actions can we all take as individuals, attending more, supporting more, asking for more, to keep our arts ecosystem growing and strong? And I believe if we try to answer those questions and we work to shape our ecosystem to reflect it to be who we are, uniquely us, like nowhere else in the country, we will see a huge impact, even bigger than the impact of what we've already seen in our economic data. We'll see impact in better schools, in greater tax collections, in fantastic business output, in our national reputation, and most of all, we will just love this place a little bit more, this wonderful place that we call home. Thank you very much.